Continue our analysis of what we consider the battleground states for this governorship election, talking about states that have closely divided support for leading political parties and where elections are too close to call from where we stand. I am Nifebi Oguntoye. Join the conversation live on Twitter using the hashtag TVC Countdown. There are uncertainties on how the governorship election will go across the 28 states where elections will hold on 18th of March, thanks to some rather shocking revelations we witnessed during the presidential election in some states. While protest votes are anticipated, the issue of voter apathy continues to remain a major concern, as only 27% of eligible voters turned out for the presidential election of February 25th. Whichever way it goes, and no matter what happens, a fierce challenge is expected in quite a number of states across the country. Let's take a look at Kano. Kano, for instance, has the second largest number of registered voters after Lagos at 5.9 million. But unlike Lagos, turnout is higher, and Kano regularly produces the highest number of votes in elections. In 2015 and 2019, President Buhari polled 1.9 million and 1.4 million votes respectively. However, in Kano, during the 2023 presidential election, APC lost to the NNPP. The presidential candidate Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso polled a total number of 997,279 votes. The APC candidate Bola Tinubu came close, or rather came second in that particular election with a total number of 517,341 votes. Of course, the PDP candidate came third with over 131,000 votes, while the Liberal Party came a distant fourth with 28,000 plus votes. The big question now is, will the NNPP win the governorship and House of Assembly elections in Kano? We'll be talking to the Deputy Governor of Kano in the course of this program, and he will be talking to us about how APC feels about these statistics. Let's turn very quickly to Nasarawa State, where the contest is also expected to be quite tough, perhaps the toughest in the North Central state. This is because the Labour Party governorship candidate Joseph Iwuga, inspired by the victory of Peter Obi, has boasted of his intention to unseat the incumbent governor, Abdullahi Sule. Recall that Obi had 91,000 votes, narrowly defeating his closest contenders, Tinubu and Atiku, who had 172 and 147,000 votes respectively. But just today, we're hearing that the Nasarawa State Labour Party governorship candidate, as well as 3 others, have stepped down for the PDP governorship candidate, David Umbugadu. And they are also appealing to supporters to vote for the PDP. That's an interesting development. We'll be talking to our correspondent in shortly to find out more about the realignment taking place in that part of the country. From Nasarawa, let's turn to Benue, where it may be difficult to predict the outcome of the governorship race. Before the presidential contest, the state governor had openly thrown his weight behind the Labour Party presidential candidate. And Peter Obi was favored to win, but he eventually lost to the APC candidate in Benue. The incumbent governor, Samuel Otom, who is among the PDP G5 governors, also lost his bid to the Senate. He was defeated by the APC candidate, Titus Zam. The battle is between Herman Hembe, the Labour Party candidate, Titus Uba of the PDP, and Hyacinth Lumen of the APC. Our correspondent from Benue and Nasarawa, Mayowa Kwato and Godwin Agwam, join me now for more on this development. Let's begin in Nasarawa. Godwin, talk to us about the alignment and realignment we're hearing about from Benue, from Nasarawa rather.
I would say it's a 2-horse race in Nasarawa State now between the People's Democratic Party candidate, David Mbogadu, and the state governor, Abdullahi Sule, who is also the candidate of the All Progressives Congress. Recently, the Labour Party candidate, who a lot of persons had thought would make wave in the election, stepped down for the PDP candidate and endorsed him. That is Joseph Iwuga. He endorsed him and through support and asked his supporters to support David Mbogadu. This is a plus to the camp of the PDP. I had said it before when I was on air that the PDP seems to have one house for the very first time, because the candidate of the PDP, David Mbogadu, is an origin of the Gun Nation. Is from the Gun Nation. And of course, for the very first time, the Gun people are featuring just a single candidate in a major political party like the PDP. Now, the Joseph Ewuga, who had stepped down for David Bugadu, is also from the Gun extraction. So if he had continued in the race, his votes were likely to come out from the strongholds of the PDP in Cairo, like in Nasser Egon, and other local governments that had hitherto been projected as PDP strongholds. Now, with his stepping down and with the endorsement of other few political parties who had stepped down for the candidate of the PDP, they have made the PDP candidates to be more stronger in this contest. But that is not to say that the incumbent governor, Abdullahi Sule, is also not strong in this contest. He's a very strong candidate in this contest because there are a lot of alignment and realignment going on in his place. Now recently, the senator-elect of Nasarawa West Senatorial Zone, Aliyu Wadada, declared his support for Sule. Aliyu Wadada was a member of the APC, but because he lost out at the primaries, he defected to the Social Democratic Party so that he could contest for the Senate. And he was so lucky, he won overwhelmingly at the polls. And now he has thrown his weight behind the governor, who is the candidate of the APC. Now, where the challenge will be for the both of them is in the Nasarawa South. Now, the Nasarawa South is populated by the Alago people. The running mate of the governor, Abdullahi Sule, is from the Alago Nation, and he is the incumbent deputy governor of the state, Emmanuel Akabi. Of course, we are projecting that he will have some support from his people from that side. But the PDP candidate also has the senator-elect from the zone, because his own people, who are the largest tribe in the state, have supported the candidate of the PDP during the senatorial elections. So they are expecting that it's payback time for the PDP, the senator-elect of the National South, to also support the candidate of the PDP
Indeed.
At this governorship post that is coming up. So it's a case of give and take between the PDP senator-elect, the senator-elect who is of the PDP in National South, and of course the candidate of the PDP who is from National North. And I want to state categorically here that the Gun Nation are one of the most populous tribes in the state. They are in virtually all local government of the state. And so that is why this contest is going to be a tough one, because the governor seems to be coming from the zone. He's coming from the zone of the candidate of the PDP.
Interesting development, Godwin, an interesting permutation as well, as we see different parties trying to align and realign ahead of the 18th March contest. But do you find it interesting that the Labour Party that came first during the presidential election is now throwing its weight behind the PDP that came a distant third?
Yeah, I did.
Well, let me be frank with you. The truth is, Labour Party candidates had no chance in this election, the governorship election. The people who voted for Labour Party at the presidential election did so because they voted for Peter Obi and not for Labour Party per se. Majority of the votes that was garnered by the Labour Party at the presidential election were gotten from the strongholds of the PDP. So the only thing he would have done was that he would have scuttled the chances of the PDP candidates, because of course he would have been dividing the votes of the PDP candidates in places like Cairo, which is populated by Igbos and non-indigenous in the states, and of course in places like Akwanga, and of course in places like Obi and other local governments like Nasarawa, where he's from. So he would have divided the votes of the PDP candidates if he had gone ahead to contest in this polls. Now, there is one challenge that the APC is also having. The candidate of the New Nigerian People's Party, that's the NNPP candidate, Abdullahi Medoya, is also another strong candidate that a lot of persons seems to be ignoring in this election.
It did, Godwin.
He might not win.
We're going to return to all of that details in a short while, but let's quickly turn now to Benue, where Maiwa Kwato is also standing by. Maiwa, the incumbent governor, lost the senatorial bid. His preferred candidate for the presidency also did not win on February 25th. What's the update from Benue?
And now, from that they said, the incumbent, as he loses, this divided the People's Democratic Party, which affected them a lot, making the 3 senatorial seats, out of 3 of them, the APC won 2, while the People's Democratic Party, the Zone C, won its seat in PDP. Now, this made them a bit agitated for towards the governorship election, and it's now more like a battlefield as the People's Democratic Party feels they have to open their belt or stand strong or stand firm and prepare more towards the governorship election. In the past few days, there have been a series of meetings led by the state governor with stakeholders of the People's Democratic Party, trying to fix this division that has been made during the presidential election, that is dividing the People's Democratic Party into two, as some were supporting the Labour Party and the other supporting the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate, Elijah Basito. So this divided the party, which creates more chances for the All Progressive Congress to win its presidential election. Now, towards the governorship election, the series of meetings that have been made is bringing the People's Democratic Party, is meant to bring the People's Democratic Party people together to ensure they gain victory from the governorship and House of Assembly's election. Now, this is not only seen as yesterday alone, the Young Progressive Party stepped down to show their support for the People's Democratic Party's candidate, person of Titus Uba. Also, this is not just going to be overlooked by the All Progressive Congress. Winning its presidential election, the All Progressive Congress feel they have more chances also to win its governorship seats. But with people
we're going to continue that conversation in the coming days, particularly saying that some parties are already throwing their support behind the big contenders. Maiwa Kwato, live for us in Benue, Godwin Agwam, live in Nasarawa. Good to see you, gentlemen. We'll take a short break. When we return, I'll be talking to the Deputy Governor of Kano State, who's also the APC governorship candidate in the 18th March governorship election in Kano. Stay with us. I'm joined now by Dr. Nasiru Gawuna, Deputy Governor of Kano State, is also the APC gubernatorial candidate. Thank you for joining us on the countdown. Let's begin with how you and your party are reacting to the suspension of the governorship election earlier scheduled to hold tomorrow.
Thank you for having me this evening. And like you've said, myself and my party are reacting very well to the postponement of the election. These are issues that can happen at any time. And for people that are prepared and are ready for elections, don't have to worry about these kind of issues. And we are trying our best to see that come 18th of March, we are ready for the election, and we'll continue to do our best to see that we have won the election.
Your Excellency, some would say the presidential election result in Kano must have unsettled your party. The NNPP won with more than 56% of the total vote cast. They got 2 out of the 3 senatorial seats and 17 out of the 24 House of Reps. This must have put your party in a really difficult position. How are you reacting to that?
Well, if somebody is upset about this kind of issues, I think he needs to check his mindset about politics. Politics is like that, and the presidential candidate of NNPP is from Kano State. And definitely, there is going to be a lot of sentiment when it comes to voting. But the APC presidential candidate got the required percentage that he needs in Kano State, and the votes are overwhelming. And when you look at the permutation of the the votes, you will now find out that the APC candidate, who is our president-elect, Alhaji Bola Ahmed Tinubu, uh, is the one ahead in Kano, because when you look at the other votes in other states where the NNPP presidential candidate got, it's like Kano is being won by the APC presidential candidate. And so we are not worried about that, and we are working hard, and people will see what will happen when it comes to the next election, that is the gubernatorial and the state assembly election, come 18th March.
Some say this election is perhaps the most keenly contested in Kano history, and it's seen by some as a direct contest between Kwankwaso of the NNPP and your principal, the governor of Kano, Abdullahi Ganduje, who, both of them will not have served as governor and deputy twice. Would you say that you and other candidates in this contest are being adequately evaluated if those who are not on the ballot are seen as the main contenders?
Well, I say they can say whatever they think. I think that's their opinion. But I think people should look at the credentials and the credibility of the candidates that are participating in this election. Not only the APC or the NNPP, but other parties as well, because our election is by God. There are a lot of indices that one has to look at. First, you look at your credibility, you look at your stand, or you look at your experience when it comes to governance and what you have done. These are indices that are going to be looked at, and people will judge based on that and then elect people in office. I've always said that I have the requisite experience of governance, which started as the local government chairman, my own local government chairman, Nasarawa, which is the biggest local government, not only in Kano, but in the country, in terms of population and what have you. And I have that experience. I have governed my local government, and my people in Kano State can judge me for that. And I have the experience to work with Governor Mala Ibrahim Shekarau then. And then subsequently, I was in the cabinet of Engineer Rabi Musa Konkoso when he came for the second time after the merger. He picked me as a commissioner, and he knows the reason why he picked me, and we served well with him. After that, then my principal at the moment, Governor Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, picked me as a commissioner, and when the chance came, he made me his deputy governor, and then we get into election again. And as the deputy governor now, I think I have garnered a lot of experience that can be able to put me ahead, which I think all the contestants that are contesting in all the parties, there is nobody that have these records ahead of me. So these are indices that one can look at and think. And I have a cordial relationship between all these governors. I don't have any problem with any one of them. And even in my state, I encourage peaceful coexistence between people and parties. And I stand to be corrected if there is any candidate that is doing that in Kano now, should prove it. But like I told you, elections are by God.
Dr. Gawuda, you just talked about your relationship with Senator Shekarau. Can you confirm social media reports that the senator is working with your party ahead of the governorship election? We saw a picture of him and the Kano State governor trend earlier.
No, that I cannot say. I don't know, but that shows relationships are always better because you can win elections, you can make finish your tenure, but relationships are supposed to be kept well. Even if Shekarau is in another party and we are in another party with my principal, that does not mean they cannot correlate together. They are all, Shekaro was a former governor for 8 years, and Ganduje is now almost finishing his 8 years. There is no reason why we should quarrel. And this is an example showing people that, I mean, followers, that we should try as much as possible to maintain relationship between ourselves at the bottom, because at the top you will find out whatever happened. Leaders are coming together to share whatever they do together. So there is no need for animosities. There is no need
I
for
hear you, Deputy Governor.
quarrels.
We have a few more minutes. Let me just squeeze in a few more questions so that we can get more before we go. You have been talking a lot about your promise for the people of Kano, one of which is giving autonomy to the local government if you are elected as governor. How difficult has that been since being a deputy governor since 2018? Why do you think it will be different if you become governor?
It's not difficult. I have been a local government chairman for 6 years or 7 years because I have served my tenures, 2 tenures, and then I have been appointed as an administrator. So I know what local government is, and during that time, I've been given all the chances, and I know what local governments are. And so there is no reason why, as a former local government chairman, I will not give autonomy to the local government chairman. This will do with adequate supervision with those that are supervising the local government, that is the state assembly, adequately if God destined me to be the governor. And then I'm sure that if the local government will do what they are supposed to do, there is going to be a lot of synergy between the state and the local government, and then there is going to be much desired development to the people of the state.
Finally, Deputy Governor, let's talk about security ahead of the election, because the police in Kano say they are aware of plans by some politicians to import thugs into the state in order to disrupt the election. And the opposition parties are already accusing you and your government of being behind this. How do you react?
Well, I can react by saying that, okay, those that have already or that have done that will be safe, because the police has promised us that they will do all that they can to obtain that. So we'll see who is the person that have employed or that have deployed thugs from other places to Kano. We, as a party and as a government, Kano State has been secured for a very long time. From 2015 till date, Kano has remained peaceful in all ramifications, both in religious and ethnic violence. There was no occurrence, no single occurrence of that. And then when it comes to issue of terrorism or the issue of kidnapping and what have you, Kano has been very peaceful. And so somebody that has done that will not do anything to sabotage his state. And I'm telling you that this is elections are not a do or die affair. There is no reason, I see no reason why somebody will deploy the use of thugs simply because of election. Definitely, whoever is elected will serve his tenure, and he will leave the seat. The remaining, he will meet God. God will definitely judge people that have done that. And the police and all the security agencies have assured us that they will not leave anything undone when it comes to making sure that the 18th March election that is coming up has been peaceful. And I pray that it will be very, very peaceful, and that whoever deployed any talk should be ready to answer the law.
We're following the Kano State governorship election very closely, and just like you said, we're also hopeful for a peaceful poll. Dr. Nasiru Gawuna, Deputy Governor, Kano State, and APC governorship candidate, thank you for talking to us.
Thank you very much for having me. And I hope we'll have a peaceful election in the whole country, inshallah. Thank you.
That's our program today. Thank you for being a part of it. Follow us on all of our social media handles. Remember to use the hashtag TVC Countdown so we can track you. I am Nifemi Oguntoye.